of the enemy's tricks is to isolate us and make us think that we are the only ones facing a particular problem. This is true as it relates to father wounds because we generally don't talk about it. The subject may come up around Father's Day, but it is not a guarantee. For the next 9 weeks, I'm going to be sharing conversations with women who have experienced father wounds. Now, although their stories are uniquely different, it is my hope that you will hear something that you can relate to, that resonates with you and makes you feel seen and helps you to find hope. May you finish this series knowing that you are loved, wanted, valued, important, beautiful, precious, cherished, healed, and fathered. Maia, when did you discover that you had father wounds from your biological father and your stepfather?
I would say I noticed that I had wounds when I was going through separation and divorce with my ex-husband. I would say that that's when I first noticed them or really paid attention to them because I was drawn to the fact that I was going through a breakup similar to my parents or what, the information that I had concerning my parents and how my mom processed my father's leaving. And I started to realize that everybody has their own part in any kind of separation or divorce, and that my dad and my mother both had a part in their separation and divorce. And because of the work that the Lord had already started doing in my life, I realized that no one was truly at fault for, no one, I couldn't really blame anyone for all that had gone on and how it impacted me. But it caused me to pay more attention to the things that I did in relation to other men in my life and how I accepted a lot of things that I shouldn't have over the years. So, once I started going through separation and divorce, it just kind of gave me a little punch, a little eye-opener.
Mm-hmm. I have read that oftentimes people have some sort of triggering experience that might prompt them to go get some counseling or just really sound the alarm and say, hey, there's a problem here, there's something wrong. So I think that was very self-aware of you. Do you think in any way that maybe your father wounds might have impacted the spouse that you chose initially?
Yes. I believe a lot of the reason why I chose my first husband was because of the attention that I got in the initial greeting and him pursuing me, and it was actually almost like a knight in shining armor type of deal for me because he asked me, since I wouldn't go out with him, he asked me would I go to church with him, and something inside of me knew that I needed to be there when he asked me that, and so I jumped to that, and that's where I got to know the Lord. I found, I got saved and got to know the Lord, and I believe I kind of took on that knight in shining armor type of attitude toward him. So now he was the person that kind of helped me to get where I knew I needed to be. So yes, I do believe that the lack of the attention and validation that I needed from my father or fathers definitely led me down that road. And yeah, I think a lot of the things that we should learn from our fathers, like how to choose a spouse, were lacking, and how to see a man for who he really is. Those things were lacking. So yes, I think it definitely impacted the way that I, chose my husband then.
I think what you're saying is so key. The father is really the daughter's first experience with the male gender. He is supposed to really pave the road and lay the foundation for what she is going to look for in a spouse and what she expects in terms of treatment. So certainly that's one indicator. I think a lot of times, or I've engaged with some women that think their relationship with the opposite sex is altogether apart and separate and different. It has absolutely nothing to do with their biological father, not realizing that they are, whether they accept it or not, they have been influenced by the relationship with their biological father or the lack thereof. And I think, that's such a good indicator. I do want to ask you, in terms of healing, what type of healing have you found? As you've acknowledged your father wounds, what type of healing have you found?
Healing. Just as the same situation, going through separation and divorce, brought me into a deeper relationship with the Lord, because it was a deep pain, a deep place of pain for me. I could only turn to the Lord. Sure. And during that time, when I did, He showed me that I was worth so much to Him that none of the things that I sought after from men was even necessary. He showed me that I was worth the life of His Son. And that for me was a lot. It told me that I was priceless to Him. And so it helped to heal a lot of the things that I was missing, a lot of the wounds that were there because of the things that I missed from my fathers. And it just showed me that I have a father that is beyond compare, when it comes to any earthly father. And the Lord just did a really great work, so that when I lost my stepdad, who I knew as my daddy, he had re-entered my life and been very instrumental in my life with my kids and I. When I went through separation and divorce, him and his wife stepped in, and they were amazing and helped me out with my children, but I lost him. Him and his wife. And not even a year later is when my sister found me, and I was reconnected with my biological father. And I really felt like that was a hug from the Lord, like, hey, I got you. You're not without an earthly dad. I'm your dad. I'm your father, but you also have an earthly father. So it was almost like He just kind of kept, he had a whole succession plan. Yes. So and that bond was mended. I think it has helped not only me, my children, and my biological father, because now I found out that he had actually been looking for me for years. So I'm sure that it's also been a blessing to him, because we definitely keep in touch, and we talk about different things concerning our lives. So yeah, it's been good. And I'm a big sister, which is something that I never was allowed to have, when I was younger. So it's been a good journey, and the healing has been great. The Lord has definitely done a lot in my life with those painful situations that I endured as a child.
As we kind of land the plane a little bit, I would imagine that there's probably some women that are watching that maybe where you are, they might be having a triggering event. They might be going through separation and divorce. They might be leaving an abusive relationship, or just beginning to see some areas in their life that they're ashamed of. What encouragement would you offer someone as it relates to dealing with their own father wounds and addressing maybe pain that they've regressed? What encouragement would you offer another woman?
The first thing I would offer is just get to know the Lord. There is so much healing when it comes to any type of pain in your life in a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. He can fill any void and just mend any broken heart. That's what He desires to do. He desires to mend our broken hearts. And the best way to do that is to get to know him by getting in his word, spending time in prayer, just having conversation with him. When, there are times when pain gets really, really real, and heavy. And there are times when, honestly, I've had to sit and just cry and talk to the Lord, and have conversation like, Lord, I don't know what I did. I thought I was doing the right thing. I wanted to be married and have a nice family. But he can always take all of those broken things and mend them. And that brings me to one of my favorite scriptures, that he gives us beauty for ashes. And I tell you, he has definitely done that in my life, not only with my father's situation, but he's brought a wonderful husband in my life that is so much like my daddy, which is funny because my kids say the same thing, that they love him so much. And he's just, filled in the gaps in our lives. He's definitely brought us beauty for ashes and joy for mourning. So, yeah.
That's a wonderful place to just land, because I know there's so many women that might be at different places, and they just need to know there's hope.
Yes.
There's encouragement wherever your story is at this point, at this juncture. If it's looking what you might feel a hot mess, God can take that mess and make a masterpiece.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Maia.
Thank you.
Hey sister, I hope this video was an encouragement to you. And a great next step is to watch some of the other videos on my YouTube channel. Or you can check out some of the resources that you'll find below in the description section of this video. There is a father wound quiz to help you pinpoint the type of wound that you have experienced. There is also an Overcoming Father Wounds YouVersion devotional, a free chapter of my book, Overcoming Father Wounds, and a podcast, Hope for Women with Father Wounds. All of these resources have been crafted intentionally with you in mind. If you are a woman who has father wounds, be encouraged and know, sis, that there is hope. I also want to invite you to purchase my book, Overcoming Father Wounds, Exchanging Your Pain for God's Perfect Love, as it is yet another resource that I have created with you in mind. Take care, be blessed, and be encouraged.